Hey, coming up, I'm going to talk to a person running for a local school board about what motivated her to run. She's a first-time candidate, I believe, who saw a need and wants to have a voice on the Rockwood School Board. We're going to talk to Jessica Clark when we come back here in just a minute. You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. Two weeks from today, you will go to the polls. You better go to the polls on April 5th, and you're going to vote to replace in Missouri a number of school board members. Some of the positions are open. Others are being challenged. There are generally 2 seats open in each one of these boards, and it's time for people to rise up and take control of their school boards again. It's something we've been focusing on here on the show. I'm going to put out a voter guide here, hopefully by the end of the week, with a list of candidates in each of the local school boards that represent conservative points of view and not the NEA's point of view to control what's going on in your local school districts. I think that's important. I'm joined this morning by Jessica Clark. Jessica is one of the candidates in the Rockwood School District, along with Izzy Emig, that I am throwing my support behind. Jessica, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Welcome into the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better than how you said it.
Well, tell people what motivated you, first of all, to do what you do, because you've got your own podcast, you've had your own radio show, you discuss issues. We just tell people you're an African-American, a woman who identifies as a conservative, and you're running for school board in Rockwood. Tell us more about you.
So I wasn't always a conservative. I like to say that I'm a recovering liberal because I was on the other side. And so I have a unique perspective of seeing both sides and understanding how they get away with what they get away with on such a mass scale. I got involved with Rockwood. As most people already know, there was an email that was leaked where, you had administrators and teachers hiding things in the curriculum. So COVID gave us the opportunity to see what was happening in the classroom, and some of the things were disgusting. And I have a blended family, and realizing that critical race theory is such a huge part of the Rockwood School District, what do I do in that case with my family? Do I sit down and I have my white daughters at dinner apologize to my black daughters? That's putting us in a very sketchy situation. And so as a conservative mom, parents have to have a seat at the table. You guys are demoralizing our students. You're attempting to indoctrinate them. And the numbers academically at Rockwood have been declining for the last 3 years. People don't realize only 17% of the minority population at Rockwood is proficient in math, and only about 25% proficient in English and reading. How are they going to read history? You want to fight about history? They're not going to be prepared for the world. And we all know that education is the gateway to freedom. So that's why I fight.
Yeah, good. Jessica Clark, my guest. I noticed something interesting on your website, that merit matters, that based on your experience as a teenage mom on welfare, that it wasn't diversity in class lessons that helped you. What do you mean by that?
No, somebody coming in and talking about how hard black people have struggled historically, somebody coming in and pointing the blame on maybe one of my white teachers, that didn't help me. It was really me getting over myself. I mean, I had a rough life. I made some extremely bad choices, but realizing there's a correlation between how hard you work and the decisions that you make and the results that you get. When I was a young mom on welfare, being very reckless, I had the results of having a reckless life, limited opportunities. Nobody wanted to hire me. But when I started investing in myself, I watched the way that I speak, the way that I dress, the way that I show up. I built myself because I said, I'm sick of this. I got kids that are watching me. If you want them to replicate what you do, cool, keep doing that because they are watching. But if you want them to have a better opportunity and do something different, you have to show them that. Nobody's coming to save you. But again, like even the black struggle, which everybody's not struggling, we don't have a trademark on that. Everybody has struggles. Everybody makes the bad decisions. Everybody has to answer to the actions that they have. So I was sick of myself, and I'm like, I have to do better as a mom for my children. And that's when the things changed for me.
Yeah. Jessica, what has your experience been in this race so far? I spoke with Izzy Emig recently, and she's been having a problem with, people calling and threatening businesses that have shown support for her. She's had signs stolen around different areas there in the Rockwood district. there's an generally speaking, a lot of money spent from the NEA on a slate of candidates. You're not NEA endorsed, so you're having to do this on your own. What's your experience been so far?
So it has been very interesting. These people are cutthroat. They are stealing my signs. They are threatening the businesses. They are smearing my name on social media. They're going, even the schools. I'm having to call the school because teachers are targeting some of my children because they don't like who I am and what I do. So I will say it has been very crazy. And these are the people that claim to love kids. You guys are supposed to be here for kids, but look how you treat the parents.
So you've seen smear campaigns against you?
Oh, it's been horrible. They've called me everything you can think of, including a white supremacist. They called a black woman a white supremacist.
That's amazing. At the end of the day, it's about a school board that's going to react to the stakeholders, the people that pay for the very schools their kids are attending. My observation is that in too many of these districts these days, it comes from the top down, and they're all extremely left of center in their approach to education. And once the NEA controls the school board as well, parents don't have a voice.
That's true. And when you think about, we got a new superintendent coming in. Do you really think an all-white board is going to challenge anything that has to do with race, diversity, and equity and inclusion? Absolutely not. They don't feel like they have an authority. You need to have a board that's willing to say the things that need to be said. And honestly, that's not going to happen unless we get other people in there that actually see it from a different perspective. I am the minority population.
Yeah, that's a great point. And well, thank you for having the guts to stand up and do it. This is the first time you've run for office, right?
It is.
Well, Jessica Clark, we appreciate your voice. Where can people find out more about your campaign?
You can go to Jessica for Rockwood. That's the number 4 or the word 4. Jessica4Rockwood.com. All the information you can need. Like you said, we're in the last 2 weeks. Now is the time that we change. We complained about it for a very long time. This is how you make sure things actually change.
Great. Well said. We appreciate that. Jessica, thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. Jessica Clark there, candidate for the Rockwood School Board. And when I first heard these stories of signs being stolen and all that, I couldn't believe it, right? So I requested a couple of signs for Izzy Emig and put one in my yard and put the other one up at the top of our subdivision. Guess what? It got stolen. So I know it's happening all over Rockwood. They can't stand it that somebody's willing to stand up and speak for parents. Get out and vote on April 5th. Set an alarm on your phone today so you don't forget. This is one of the most important elections I can think of that's coming up this year.